this is Kaki King and this is Sound Advice. Today I'm going to talk to you about fingerstyle playing and tapping and adding a lot of different sounds to the guitar that you may not have already used. Okay, you're a fingerstyle player, you're starting to understand open tunings, a little bit more right hand technique, and maybe some of this weird tapping stuff looks interesting to you. Some of it may feel really familiar if you're coming from an Eddie Van Halen or Stanley Jordan electric background. Some of you may already have listened to any one of the really amazing contemporary fingerstyle guitarists out there who uses the technique. But the first thing I'd like you to do, and it's difficult to do this otherwise, is to get a fresh pair of strings on your guitar. The reason is you're going to want a very, very healthy response because, instead of picking, you're going to be actually hammering on everything. Tapping is basically just an endless series of hammer-ons. So if you have really dead strings, you're not going to get that response and you're not going to be satisfied with the result. I think as a fingerstyle player, so this is my trajectory, it may feel similar. I started playing electric guitar, I learned my power chords, my little minor pentatonic scales, and then I kind of wanted to explore the guitar in a more interesting way. I got into acoustic playing, a little finger picking, and then open tunings were the eye-opening, pun intended, the great leap forward for me. So I didn't have to stay in standard tuning, I could go anywhere. So here's an interesting tuning that's based in B. And then after that, it became clear that if I wanted to entertain an audience or even myself for a given period of time, I was going to need to broaden the sounds that I was getting. Unfortunately, with the acoustic guitar, you have all the very, very bright sounds of percussion. You also have the very, very deep sounds, and you have everything in between. Whereas electric guitars tend to sit in the mid-range, the mid to treble range, so they can really cut through a band setting. Acoustic guitars have a large dynamic range. So you already have all the frequencies you want. So let's figure out I think that's the why of tapping. You're going to want to be able to, broaden the sound and broaden your compositional tools. All by, staying by yourself because other people are scary. It's true. I believe that. So let's look at some little ideas. For me, there's a lot of muting that goes on for me. That may have sounded like I'm just picking, but really I'm plucking a string. I'm actually hammering on a string and then plucking it. So you have this kind of delay effect without any delay. It's just me sitting here. And again, I think that's interesting because the ear is expecting something else and you get a new thing. What other kinds of examples can I share with you? There's a lot of tapping that goes on with the right hand reaching over to the neck and going on the G and the E string and the D and the B string. Sometimes just the tapping or sometimes playing those open strings as well. So kind of hammer on, pull off with the right hand. The reason that you don't hear the double strings, so the B and the E as much, is because it's really tricky to get both fingers tucked in there. However, if you want that sound, use your left hand. Go over to any fret, because you're already used to that with your left hand. So that would be sort of in the left hand's realm, and these further apart would be in the right hand's realm. So let's just take that basic idea. Let's switch it to the left. Both are equally good, they both work. So why use one or the other? I think for the right hand, it depends on where you want your bass notes to go. So let's try right hand. And you'll notice that I'm basically blocked up until basically the 7th. Maybe I can't really get further than the fret that my right hand's already on. So it's probably better in this instance to not reach over for this unknown reason, but to use the left hand, because then it opens up everything to the right hand to be coming over and tapping out on a bass line. Even though sometimes tapping can look a little bit show-offy, or maybe it's special, there's always a logic behind it. There's always a reason for doing it the way it's done. And for me, it's normally giving myself as much access to the fretboard as I can. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about body percussion on the guitar. This can come from a variety of different ways. Some people have spent, their entire careers really focusing on this, getting a lot of technique down. Some people are reluctant to scratch up the top of their guitar. Totally understandable. But there are ways, and I think one of the ways that's most useful is just creating a backbeat. You don't have to be poundy and heavy. You can kind of be light with it. So basically, we've got some treble work. We've got some bass work. Mix it up depending on where you want your bass lines to go. What are we going to do about this kind of, feeling that we're getting the band together, Where are these backbeats, drum beats, and snare sounds? First of all, there don't have to be any, but I do think that the easiest place to start from is this backbeat with the heel of your hand on the top of your guitar. It can be very light. You kind of want it to be a bounce. It's not a thud. It's a bounce off. And what that also enables you to do is, if you practice enough and get into it, you can finger pick and play this backbeat at the same time. We'll start simple. So while I'm doing this backbeat, what if I can just pull up a few strings and make that sound even more full? So I've got this nice backbeat going. Bring in my upbeats. Some light strumming, and again, it's really just the hand lifting up, kind of barely grabbing onto those strings. The other nice thing about tapping is that because you're whacking the metal string against a metal fret, you are getting this little click. That sounds very different from. So all the tapping that you're doing is giving all these percussive elements, whether or not you're, literally playing drums on the guitar, or you're just, kind of flirting around with these tools and these techniques. You're turning the guitar into a much more percussive sound than it was before. And that's what I think is really interesting about it. This type of technique has been explored by a lot of really great players, but there's still so much territory to uncover. So I hope that you get to do some of that. Thank you.